Hi, my name is Camille, and I'm presenting an investment strategy for Finance 695. My test strategy is, as profit margin increases, the stock prices increases. So my strategic implementation is, as the company becomes more profitable, the market should look at the company more favorable. And accordingly, the stock prices should increase as the profit margin increases. So, to test this theory, I chose 5 large retail companies within the same industry, and I utilized 6 years of data ranging from 2009 to 2014. My chosen companies were Walmart, Target, Kmart, Dollar Tree, and General Dollar. So what is a profit margin? Well, first of all, we calculate the profit margin by taking the net income and dividing it by sales. The profit margin is an indication of profitability for a company. It is often used as a way to measure the effectiveness of a company's business model, especially within the same industry. Additionally, the profit margin provides an indication of how well a company is setting its product prices and controlling its production costs. Yes, cutting the costs results in a higher profit margin. So I began to conduct my investment research. And one thing I wanted to know was, are the profit margins consistent? Well, from a historical viewpoint, I analyzed 6 years of data to gauge the company's profit margin, because 1 year is just not enough to make an informed decision. So naturally, I want to see a high profit margin, because this tells me that the company not only operates its business well, but it is also efficient in controlling its expenses. So as I began to analyze the data, I utilized the data collected from Bloomberg and Yahoo Finance, and analysis was conducted. On 2 of the stores, let's begin with the Dollar General. As the profit margin increased each year, the stock price increased. So it indicated that there appeared to be a correlation between the profit margin and the stock price. This was the same thing that I experienced with the Dollar Tree. As the profit margin increased each year, the stock price increased. Again, indicating that there could be a correlation between the profit margin and the stock prices. But then I went to Walmart, Target, and Kmart. These were some of the larger stores. For Walmart, the profit margin increased in 2010 and 2011. It decreased in 2012, 3.89% to 3.51%. But even though it decreased, what really struck me as curious is that the profit margin in 2012 decreased, but the stock price increased, and it went from $51 to 36 cents to $74.50. With Target, I experienced similar. The profit margin increased in 2010 and 2011. Again, in 2012, it decreased. It went from 4.33% to 4.19%. And although the profit margin decreased in 2012, the stock price increased from $52.66 to $64. Kmart, the profit margin decreased in 2011, 2012, and 2013. And despite the negative profit margin in 2012, which was a negative 7.55%, there was an increase in the stock from $53.57 in 2011 to $58.18 in 2012. So I want to take it a step further. And since there appeared to be a correlation between the profit margin and the stock price of some of the companies, a data analysis regression tests were conducted. And there were 3 regressions. There was one done on all of the companies, one done on the larger retail companies, and one done on the smaller retail companies. So let's deal with all of the companies. When I ran the regression test, it showed no significant correlation. It was 0.28%. For the larger retail stores, which was Kmart, Walmart, and Target, again, there was no significant correlation. As you can see, the percentage was 0.36. But I still wanted to find out a little bit more. So I ran it on the smaller retail stores, which was the Dollar Tree and the General Dollar. And what I found out was there was a significant correlation. My p-value was 0.04, which was less than 0.05%. So it could have been because the smaller retail stores have less inventory versus the larger ones that carry more inventory. But that was what my regression shows. So in conclusion, although I stress profit margin within my investment strategy, other variables must be considered, such as the debt equity ratio, which measures the amount of debt a company has. But by all means, the profit margin should not be the only variable utilized. Additionally, you want to keep in mind that human emotion is at play. So what does this mean? This means that predictions about the market can and will be made. And we have to remember that people will react differently. Some may overreact to the news and sell their stock. And this can drive the price down, even though a particular company may have no issues. So what I encourage you to do is always do your research and plan ahead. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation, and have an awesome day.